Psalm 40:16. Be still and know that I am God. 4 words and a name and the entire instruction for the anxious man, and 2 lines. I have not been good at still, I have been good at busy, which masquerades as productive, and productive masquerades as faithful. And somewhere in the masquerade I lost the ability to sit in a room without the noise, without the motion, without the performance of doing something that justifies my presence. And God kept saying, be still. And I kept saying, I will be still. Right after this, right after the email, right after the meeting, right after the year I'm currently in, then I'll be still. And I still kept waiting. The way still things away without urgency, without moving, just waiting for me to stop adding agenda to a verse that has none. Be still and let it be God. That's the whole instruction. Be still and let it be God. Stop engineering the outcome. Be still and let it be God. Not passive, active resistance to the panic that keeps moving. Be still and let it be God. The verse doesn't say be still because everything is okay. It says be still and know that I am God, which means the stillness is the mechanism of the knowing. You cannot know it in the motion. The knowing requires the stillness. The way you cannot hear a voice in a room where you are doing all the talking, and I have been doing all the talking in every room I was in, including the rooms I was in with God. And I was filling the silence before it could say what it needed to say, because what it needed to say required that I sit down. And I didn't want to sit down, because sitting down means the thing you've been out running gets to speak. And I had a theory about what it would say that turned out to be wrong. The silence didn't say what I was afraid of. It said something I couldn't have heard in the motion. Be still and let me God. Stop engineering the outcome. Be still. Active resistance to the panic. Be still and let it be God. Be still. Just that. Be still. Not because the storm stopped, because the maker of the storm is still God in the middle of it. And you cannot know that from the middle of your motion. You can only know it from the middle of the stillness. Be still. I practice it now imperfectly. There are still mornings where the calendar wins, and the phone wins, and the motion wins, and I feel the difference by noon. And I come back to the verse the way you come back to a discipline. No words, even when you forget it. Be still and know 4 words and name the whole instruction. Be still. Be still and know. Be still. I wanna tell you where I've been finding God lately, because it's not where they usually put him in songs. It's not the mountain or the storm or the altar. It's the hardware store on a Saturday morning in aisle 7, between the PVC fittings and the paint rollers. I was standing in that aisle, trying to remember whether I needed a 1/4 inch or 3/8. And something shifted in the quality of the ordinary, and I can't describe it more precisely than that. The fluorescent lights, the smell of lumber, the man next to me reading a box of screws, and something was present in all of it that doesn't have a better name than God. And I've been noticing it since in the school pickup line, which is not a location anyone has ever written a hymn about, and probably should, cause I've had more honest conversations with God in the school pickup line than in most of the sanctuaries I've sat in. In the commute, in the grocery store Thursday, in the kitchen at 6 a.m. making lunches for people who won't thank me until they're 30.
Holy in the hardware store,
That's where he is.
holy in the school pickup line,
In the 6 a.m. kitchen, in the commute, in the aisle with the PVC. Holy in the ordinary,
that's the whole thing.
the burning bush was also a bush. The sacred is hiding everywhere. Holy in the hardware store. Look around, he's already here. Jacob woke up from a dream and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was sleeping in a field with a rock for a pillow, not a sanctuary, a field with a rock. And I think about that in the pickup line, when the minivan in front of me's been signaling left for an unreasonable amount of time. And I think surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And something about that is funny, and something about it is exactly true, because if he was in the field with the rock, he is in the pickup line with the minivan. And if I look for him in the unremarkable, I find him every unremarkable time.
Not just on the mountain, not just in the storm,
In the Saturday
morning hardware store,
and the things that happen between the things you plan.
holy in the hardware store,
That's where he is.
holy in the school pickup line,
In the 6 a.m. kitchen, the burning bush was also a bush. Look around, he's already here. Here's the practice that changed everything about my ordinary week. Before the commute starts, before the hardware store, before the pickup line, I say out loud,
God is already there.
I'm going to a place where God already is. And then when I arrive at the unremarkable location, I am not trying to bring God to it. I'm trying to recognize that he arrived first and has been waiting for me to notice. And the noticing changes everything about the hardware store. I bought the 3/8, by the way, and I was right the first time, and the project worked, and it was a perfectly ordinary Saturday. And I was in the presence of God the entire time, which is probably how most Saturdays work, when you're paying attention.
Holy in the hardware store,
Holy,
holy in the pickup line,
holy in the commute,
holy in the kitchen,
at 6 a.m.
he's already there.
He's already there. Look around,
He's already here.
already here.
Already here.
I've been meaning to write this for a long time, and I keep putting it off, because I don't know how honest to be with someone who still has to live through everything that made me who I am. Dear me is 17 first, and not as tough as you think. The toughness is a costume you put on so early, you forgot you were wearing it, and it kept you from things that would've helped you for the next 20 years. You're gonna make decisions that feel inevitable in the moment, and I want you to know from the other side of them, Some of them are and some of them aren't, and you can't always tell which in the moment. Which is probably what I would've told you that you wouldn't have heard at 17. I'm not writing to save you from everything. Some of it made me, and I wouldn't be here without the hard parts. But there are some things I want you to know that nobody told you then, and you deserve to know.
Dear me at 17,
God already knows your name.
dear me at 17,
He knew it before you came. Before the decisions, before the detours, before the years you spent running from a voice that was already calling you.
dear me at 17.
You were never as lost as you thought you were. You were never as lost as you thought. Here's what I want you to know, that you'll spend the next decade learning the hard way. The girl you're trying to impress is not worth the version of yourself you'll become to impress her. Be the version that doesn't need to impress. You'll meet the right one when you are actually yourself. The man you're trying to become to prove something to your father is not the man your father actually needed. He needed you honest more than he needed you impressive. And the church you left at 19 because it felt like rules was trying to give you something that the streets weren't. And you'll spend a decade finding that out at considerable personal expense. I'm not writing this with regret, I'm writing it with specific gratitude of a man who knows what the hard years built, and still wishes some of them had been slightly less hard.
Dear me at 17,
God already knows your name.
He knew it before you came.
Before the decision,
Before the detour,
you were never as lost as you thought you were.
and here's the thing,
I most need you to hear
at 17,
before any of this starts. The God you haven't met yet has already read this letter from the future, and he was never surprised by any of it. Not the decisions, not the detours, not the decade of running. He was waiting at every address you didn't expect to find him at, and he will be there in every room this letter describes. You were gonna be okay, and you were gonna be better than okay. And the man you become on the other side of everything is someone 17-year-old you would be genuinely proud of, I promise. So go ahead and live the years you're gonna live, and know that on the other side someone is sitting in a quiet room writing you this letter and meaning every word. Love, me at 40-something who finally figured out what you were always worth.
dear me at 17,
You were never as lost as you thought.
God already knew your name.
He always knew your name. Always. Always.
I want to give you a battle plan that has been tested in the worst conditions and works. Every time, it is not complicated and it is not intuitive, and it costs something to execute, but it works. 2 Chronicles 20, King Jehoshaphat, surrounded by 3 armies, with no military path to survival. And God's instruction was not tactical, it was musical. He told him to put the choir at the front of the army before the soldiers, and to sing praise while walking toward the enemy, before the enemy broke. And I wanna sit with that for a moment, because it is absurd. On every level of military strategy we have ever developed, and it worked with a specific finality that required no soldiers, just singers walking forward, singing while God did what only God could do in front of the singing. And I have brought the strategy into my own battles, not because I figured it out, because I ran out of my own strategies. And this one was left in the Bible, where it had always been, waiting for the man who had no better options.
Praise is the battle plan,
Not the victory song.
praise is the battle plan.
It's how the war is won. You don't worship after the victory, you worship to produce it.
Praise is the battle plan.
Put the choir at the front, walk toward what you're afraid of,
Singing,
and watch what moves. I had a situation that 3 of my own strategies could not resolve, and I had tried them in the order a reasonable man tries things, and they produce nothing. And I came to the place that Jehoshaphat came to, which was the acknowledgement that I did not know what to do, and the decision to lift my eyes anyway. And I started praising in the situation, not around it, not after it, in it, while it was still exactly what it was before anything changed. And I wanna tell you that the praising changed me before it changed the situation, and the change me was able to navigate the situation in a way the unchanged me could not have. And then the situation changed in a way I didn't engineer, in a way that required something other than my strategy. And I watched it from the position of a man who had been praising while it was still unresolved. And the sequence was exactly 2 Chronicles 20, in a different century with a different battlefield.
praise is the battle plan.
Not the victory song.
You don't worship after the victory.
You worship to produce it.
Put the choir at the front,
Walk toward what you're afraid of,
singing, and watch what moves.
So here's the instruction for your specific battle. Whatever the 3 armies are, whatever the situation that has no military path to survival, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which is the instruction Jehoshaphat received before the choir walked forward. But you can't stand still without the praise. The standing still requires the praise, because the praise is what keeps you from the panic that makes you move when standing is the strategy. Praise is the standing still that allows God to move in the space you vacate. When you stop trying to engineer the outcome and start singing into the battle that belongs to Him. I go into every battle differently now than I did before. 2 Chronicles 20 was more than a chapter I'd memorized. I go in with the praise first, before I know the outcome, before the enemy breaks, before anything changes. I go in singing, and I am not lost a battle that I entered that way. And the battles I've lost were all the ones I entered with my own strategy first, and the praise as a last resort.
Praise is the battle plan,
Choir at the front,
singing into the battle.
watch what moves.
Praise is the battle plan.
Put the singers first, praise first, praise first, praise first. Watch what God does when you praise first. I want to clarify something about the call, because the version they described at the conference is missing some detail that would be useful before you say yes. Yeah. They told me I was called, and I felt it was real, and I said yes in a way. You say yes to something enormous that you don't fully understand yet. and the yes was right. I wanna be clear about that. I am not un-yesing the yes, but there were things on the other side of the yes that the description didn't cover.
The call calls me.
The version of my career I had been building for a different destination.
The call calls me.
The relationships that were only sustainable in the life I was living before the car redirected it. The call cost me the comfort of being the person nobody has expectations of, because unknown people have the luxury of private failure. And I wanna tell you that the cost was worth it, and I wanna tell you that the cost was real. And both of those things can be true simultaneously, and should be before you sign the paperwork on your yes. The call costs more than the offering plate, that's what I know now. The call costs more than the Sunday service, more than the comfortable yes. It costs the life you arranged before you were arranged differently. The call costs more than you think, and it's worth every dollar. But you should know the price. And here's the other side of the accountant, because I don't wanna write a deterrent song, I wanna write an honest one. The call gave me a purpose that survived every circumstance. I brought it through, and the purpose is I healed before, didn't I survive much lighter weather. The call gave me a specific identity of a man who knows exactly what he was made for, which is the rarest thing I have ever possessed. And the call gave me the community that forms on the other side of shared obedience, which is a different kind of belonging than the one I had before the call asked for the cost. And I still count every Tuesday when the cost is most visible, whether it was worth it. And I have not once come up with an answer other than yes, which is remarkable given the price of some of those Tuesdays.
More than the offering plate,
And it's worth every dollar. The call costs a comfortable version and gives you something better.
the call costs.
And the call is worth it.
Know the price.
And say yes,
Anyway,
that's the whole testimony. If you're hearing something right now that sounds like a direction, you didn't choose yourself. I want to tell you a few things. First, it will cost something real. Second, the cost is survivable. Third, what you receive on the other side of the cost cannot be purchased by the life you would have had if you didn't answer. And fourth, and most important, the one who called you already knows the price. He paid a higher one to have the right to call you, and he is not asking you for anything he hasn't already modeled at a significantly higher cost than anything he will ever ask of you. Say yes and count the cost, and say yes anyway. I'm still in it, and I count the cost almost daily, because the cost reminds me that I'm doing something real. Comfortable things don't cost much and produce accordingly. The costly things are the ones that matter.
call costs.
Say yes anyway.
The call costs.
Say yes, worth every dollar.
Worth every Tuesday.
Say yes, say yes. The call is worth the cost.
Say yes. Say yes.
Every morning, same mirror, same man, and I have a choice about what I do with what I see. I see the record first, that's usually what happens. The inventory of what I've been arrives before anything else, and it's accurate. I don't dispute the inventory. I see the patterns, the ones I've been working on for longer than I thought it would take to work on them. I see the progress, which is real, and I see the distance remaining, which is also real. And I stand there with both of those things in the same frame. And the choice is what I name it, what I do with through you. Whether I see a man who is not arrived, or a man who is on the way. The man I see is the man I choose every morning. That's the decision.
The man I see
Is the man I choose. not the inventory. The direction, I can look at the record, or I can look at the road ahead. The man I see is the man I choose, and I choose the one who picks it up daily and keeps going. That man,
I choose that man.
there is a version of the mirror that shows you the gap between who you are and who you said you'd be. And that version is accurate and useful for about 30 seconds, and then it becomes the thing that parks you in the driveway of who you used to be, which is where self-pity lives, and self-pity is the most expensive rental I've ever occupied. There's another version that shows you the direction of the man you're becoming and the evidence. So what the last month of choosing has produced, and that version is also accurate and much more useful for anything longer than 30 seconds. And the art is in the looking which version you spend the most time. At the mirror with the man I see is the man I choose every morning. The decision, not the inventory, the direction.
I choose the one who keeps going.
That man I
Choose that man.
Here's what it looks like in the practical version. In my specific bathroom on my specific mornings, I look at what I see and I say out loud, this is not the finished version. This is the current version of a man who is in the work, and the work is producing something, and the something is worth the daily choosing of the man who keeps showing up to do the work. And then I go do the work, which is the only thing that makes the mirror speech anything other than a pep talk. The work is the proof of the choosing, and without the work, the mirror speech is just a man talking to glass. I walked out of the bathroom this morning and chose him again. The man I'm becoming over the man I've been, and I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll do it badly some mornings, and I'll come back to the mirror and choose again, because the choice is the whole practice, not the arrival, the daily choosing of the man
I intend to be.
I choose that man, I choose that man, the one who keeps going.
I choose that man.
Every morning, same mirror, I choose the direction,
I choose that man.
not the inventory.
I choose that man.
That man, that man.
That man.
That man. I wanna give you an accurate account of what I ruined before I tell you what God built from it, because the building only makes sense if you understand the specific shape of the ruins. I ruined trust, the specific kind that takes years to build and one decision to demolish. The kind that when it goes takes everything it was attached to with it. I ruined the version of my family that would have existed if I had made different choices in the years when the choices were most consequential. And that version doesn't exist, and I don't get it back, and pretending otherwise is the second ruining. I ruined some relationships that were not mine to ruin, that belonged to people who deserve better architecture than what I was building at the time. And they carry the damage in ways I don't always see, but know are there. And I'm naming it specifically because the generic version, the I made mistakes version, doesn't honor what was actually damaged or what it cost the people in the blast radius of my particular choices. What God built on what I ruined was more specific than the destruction was. He didn't build something generic on the ruins. He built something that only works because of the particular shape of what fell. What God built on what I is the most precise thing I have ever witnessed. Precise enough to be personal, precise enough to be him. The trust that was ruined was rebuilt differently than it existed before. It was rebuilt rebuild with the knowledge of what broke it, which made the rebuilt version more structurally sound than the original. Not despite the breaking, because of the specific information the breaking provided. The family that would have existed was replaced by a family that was built by people who understood what families require from personal experience of watching one fall and choosing not to rebuild it the same way. The relationships that I damaged, some were repaired with an honesty that the undamaged versions never required, and are therefore closer now than they were before the damage. And I'm not saying the damage was worth it, I'm saying God worked with it in a way that produces something that couldn't have been produced without the specific architecture of this specific failure. And that's different from the damage being worth it. And both are true simultaneously. What God built on what I ruined is more specific than the destruction. He built something that only works because of the shape. But what fell precise enough to be personal, precise enough to be him. Joel 2:25 is the verse I quoted earlier in the collection, and I want to come back to it from this angle. He will restore the years the locusts have eaten, not replace them, restore them, which means the years themselves are transformed, not discarded. The ruined years become the material for what he builds next, and the material carries the memory of what it was before it was restored, which is why
what he built from the ruins
looks like nothing you could have designed from scratch. It has the specific grain of what it was before, running through everything it became after. And that grain is how you know it was him who built it and not you. I stand in what he built,
and I can see the ruins in it,
not his wounds, his material,
and the man who knows.
The difference between those two things is a man who has watched God work on something he thought was beyond repair. What God built on what I ruined is specific, personal. What God built on what I ruined,
More beautiful
for the breaking, more precise for the ruins. He built this,
He built this
he built this,
from what I gave
he
him.
built this.
He built this.
He built this. I want to talk about what you leave behind. Not the kind that gets engraved, the kind that grows in soil you'll never see again after you've turned it. Legacy is not the monument you build to yourself while you're still around to hear the comments. It's not the name on the building or the platform or the following count. Legacy is what the people who knew you when nobody was watching carry in the rooms. You're no longer in the part of them that moves like you moved. Thinks the way you thought about the things that matter without knowing that it's yours.
And that kind of legacy
It's built in the unremarkable, in the conversations you didn't know were defining anything. In the Tuesdays when nobody was counting, in the consistency that seemed like nothing at the time.
what the ground remembers,
Is what you planted daily,
what the ground remembers.
are the ordinary seeds, the conversations you had when you were tired, the choices you made when nobody was looking.
What the ground remembers,
It's not the monument, it's the root system underneath, still growing.
after you've gone.
I think about my grandfather, who has been gone for 20 years and is present in me in the most specific ways, in the way I hold a tool, in the way I talk to strangers, in the patience I have in the rooms that test him most, which is his patience, not mine. Running through the wiring of the man I became. He didn't know he was building that, he was just living with integrity on Tuesdays, when nobody was grading him, and I am the grade that he didn't know he was receiving. And my children are watching me the way I watched him,
without knowing yet that they are watching,
or that what they're receiving
will still be running
through their wiring in 40 years on their own Tuesdays.
what the ground remembers,
is what you planted daily,
not the monument.
the root system, the conversations when you were tired, the choices when nobody was watching.
What the ground remembers
It's still growing.
after you go.
I wanna plant something that outlasts the planting season. I wanna live in a way that my great-grandchildren, who will never meet me, will carry something from in the wiring they don't examine. I want the ground to remember that a man walked here who chose integrity on the Tuesdays when it wasn't required, who loved people in the specific ways that people know they're loved, who was honest about his failures and kept going anyway, who made room for the grace that he couldn't earn and passed that room to everyone who came after. Not a monument, a root system that keeps bearing fruit in the season long after the gardener is gone. And this is the whole Grace Winds collection in one song, in one verse, one final declaration from a man who has been honest in every volume about every broken thing and every grace that mattered. This is what I want the ground to remember about the man who made all of this and offered it to anyone who needed it. So I plant today, in the unremarkable Tuesday, with nobody grading me, and my children watching without knowing we're watching, and the ground receiving without announcing it. And I trust that what was planted faithfully in the ordinary will grow into something I won't live to see, but someone will. And they won't know my name, and they won't need to. And that is exactly the kind of legacy I'm trying to build.
What the ground remembers,
What the ground remembers.
oh, plant faithfully,
Plan faithfully.
plant faithfully.
Lord, the ground remembers.
Growing,
Root system, not monument.
keeps growing,
After you've gone,
keeps growing.
grace wins.
Grace always wins.
Plant faithfully.
The ground remembers.